Just before we get started, we at HelpSeeker, we always like to do a land acknowledgement. I'm joining you from Calgary, which is Treaty 7 territory. Uh, we we know that in Medicine Hat, the lands are the traditional gathering places of the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Stoney Nakoda, Tsuut'ina, Cree, Sioux, and Saulteaux people and First Nations, as well as Calgary is located on Métis Nation Region 3. I personally actually don't know the Métis region in Medicine Hat, but we know that acknowledging the land is important because there's a lot of historical difficulties and traumas, and we live on this land and we benefit from it. In order to build a better system, we need to understand the history of our past systems and how that it's influenced people and who benefits and who's affected by that. We strive for respectful, inclusive partnerships with all the people in Medicine Hat and area as we move towards collective healing and reconciliation. Um, on today's agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about HelpSeeker and the Systems Transformation Project and how all these pieces fit together. Most of you know already that the Systems Transformation Project has been going on and getting started over the past year or so. Now we're in a really exciting phase where we can start to think about implementation, and we can start to think about actually building out all of these different technologies and all the different transformations and all the different shifts that need to happen. Well, this session isn't about all of transformation. So we'll show you how this fits into the sort of larger transformation vision. And then we'll start to get into some really tangible tools that you can start to use to start contributing. One of those is HelpSeeker Systems Mapping tool. So we'll tell you a little bit about that tool, what it's all about, what your community will get out of it, and how you can be involved in that. Just a little bit about us and about HelpSeeker. Well, I guess I actually didn't introduce myself. My name's Jillian Ma. I work for HelpSeeker. I'm a systems planning specialist there. We're a B Corp social enterprise based out of Calgary, but we work all across Canada. And what we do is social technology. We really believe that technology can be used as a tool to solve social issues and to improve our practice in the social sector. We have, actually, this is 40 staff now. We're hiring and growing really quickly. And we're a social enterprise. So that means that while we move with the flexibility and agility of a corporation, we also have a strong commitment to social purpose. So environmental purpose, social purpose, supporting people, things like that. We've been fortunate enough to partner with the Medicine Hat Community Housing Society and CMHC on the systems transformation work. And excitingly, Medicine Hat's going to be one of the pilot communities for us to roll out, our different technologies and different systems transformation pieces. And this is really exciting. I think Medicine Hat's already known as a social innovation leader across the country and in the world. And so I think that this work is just another step and another chance for Medicine Hat to really be in the spotlight and to really kind of push the boundaries of where the social sector is going and where it's heading. So Jamie, did you have any comments or opening thoughts before we go?
I think just as much as Medicine Hat Community Housing Society gets noted, we have some folks on the call here today that are part of our leadership group that have actually been driving this for a year or so behind the scenes. And it's about really, how do we create a system that effectively serves our service participants, clients, and community a lot better than what it has been. We know through COVID and a lot of the changes that have occurred through that is what we needed years ago is not what we need now. And keeping up with those changes in systems is so unbelievably difficult for service providers, let alone those that are actually needing those services and stuff. So incorporating that systems planning and mapping work and the innovation work of technology within the social sector leads for really good opportunities to make a real big difference. It's a long difference. It's not just a short-term, hey, let's release something. It's around fundamental paradigm shifts in how we operate as a community and the sectors and where they connect. So thanks, Jillian.
Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, and like Jamie said, we really are taking sort of a blend of a systems approach where we're thinking about not just a certain sector or not just a certain group of service providers, but really what how can we think about integration between them all? How can we think about having our system work together in a more coordinated way? And then of course there's a human-centered piece where if we do all of this work and it doesn't actually help people access services or it doesn't improve their experience, then none of it's going to matter. So really centering this work around the goal of improving the experience for people accessing services, and making sure that they're a part of that process as well. So actively involving people who do use services in the design and implementation of this technology. I'll just share this video quickly. It's a video that we created last year to sort of articulate the broader vision for systems transformation. So I'll show you this because it'll give you a good sense of kind of what the end goal of this project is, and then we'll get it more into like the first steps to actually getting into transformation. So I'll just play this video, and please let me know if you can't hear it. We can troubleshoot.
Can still get difficult at times, and let's face it, we could all use a little help here and there. One of the largest aids to our community is the
Can't
social
see it, Jillian.
services sector, having a robot made up of over 1,000
One sec.
I also can't see it. I wasn't sure if it was a me problem.
There we
See,
go.
can you see the
now.
YouTube window now?
Yep.
And the audio is okay? Let's try this.
services. However, one of the challenges is that end users don't always know what's out there or to call home. Even so, life can still get difficult at times, and let's face it, we could all use a little help here and there. One of the largest aids to our community is the social services sector, having a robust network made up of over 1,000 services. However, one of the challenges is that end users don't always know what's out there or how to access it. Like you, we believe in helping each other live healthier, happier lives. So this got us thinking. What if we designed a new system where every decision made was with the end user in mind, bridging the gap and time spent between users needing help and actually receiving it? By prioritizing the needs of the user, we can create an experience that makes information painlessly accessible, transparent, and ridiculously organized. We can pull all our efforts together and create access points that are easy to use, simple to navigate, and remarkably understandable. We see the end user being in full control of their help service journey. They choose when, where, and how they access help and share personal information. The improved user journey is complemented by a consistent, universal process where users are triaged to the appropriate resources no matter what their needs are. This drastically improves service quality, eliminating industry issues such as repetitive referrals, assessments, endless forms to fill out, and preventing users from repeating their story and needs over and over again. We envision a paradigm shift in the ways in which hundreds of medicine hat providers work together to meet community needs. Over the past 6 months, we've worked across organizations and end users to prototype immediate solutions to move us in this direction. One is a virtual a la carte service menu, much like a restaurant, but with social service providers, where users can effortlessly access specific services through comprehensive yet clear information that's easy to navigate and up to date. If desired, users could even anonymously share certain parts of their service history to be matched with more relevant options. Users can connect directly with service providers and select specific services rather than bundles they don't need. Users could also book appointments, enabling an increase in efficiency and speed for consent, eligibility, intake, assessment, and referral processes. We can integrate this solution with My Alberta Digital ID, which would be like writing your name in a form online, and within the blink of an eye, your information is already there and government verified. This can ensure service providers that you are who you say you are, and confirms all the benefits you might be eligible for. Plus, you're in the driver's seat, controlling who you share your personal info with and how much you want them to see. From here, imagine making it plausible and efficient for service providers to communicate and collaborate with each other so they can all spend more time helping people in their service. Behind the scenes, we can create back-end information sharing and data collection processes while protecting personal information with best-in-class blockchain technology. We can monitor outputs and gather user feedback to improve and enhance the service to maximize its effectiveness. Essentially, this will provide a way to tangibly measure the success of the services, to know what's working and what's not, and what we can do to serve people better. This new system transformation is something that has not been done to date, and implementing these concepts will reaffirm Medicine Hat's role as Canada's social innovation leader. At the end of the day, it's all about ensuring resources are being used to deliver as much meaningful value to the users as possible. And that's a win for all parties involved. Medicine Hat, you deserve the best. Let's go get it.
Okay, so thanks for those of you who've already seen that, but hopefully for those of you who haven't seen it, it gives you a sense of sort of where the project is going, you know, what we're trying to achieve. And I think it's important to note that not all of these transformations are going to happen right away all at once. Like, this is going to be certainly a journey for the community, and it's going to be something that will be built out. And so obviously there's a large digital component, you know, where we're thinking about you know, the portals, the different predictive technologies that we can use to get ahead of social issues when we're thinking about the different digital service delivery tools. There's a digital piece, but then there's also you know, a really big people piece. There's a really big human capacity piece. You know, we know that community participation is going to be super important for this work. We know that getting buy-in across sectors from funders with service providers is going to be really important. We know that making sure that these technologies are user-friendly and easy to use is important. So there's that aspect that's important to the project as well. So these technologies are coming. This transformation is coming. You know, within the next year, within the next couple of years, and so that's all going to be a journey for sure. What we can get started on today, though, is working with some technologies and tools that we already have in the community. So that includes tools to improve user experience when they're looking for help. So making it easy for them, making it transparent about what they're going to get when they go to access that service. And then also starting to build out common language and common terms for describing services. We know that language and communication is one of the most important things in the social sector, and really in any sector for when you're trying to promote change. So creating a set of common language so that everybody can be talking about the same things and on the same page when they're interacting is going to be super important as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny Cull. She's going to tell you a little bit about the HelpSeeker app and how it's one of those tools that will support systems transformation going forward.
Thanks, Jill. That's great. Let me just, there we go. So thanks everyone for joining us. So there are literally hundreds of thousands of support services available across Canada, but the most common cited concern that we hear is that people just don't know where to go for help. So even if information does exist online, finding it is hard. And as frontline workers, you might be able to relate to some of these. So, you know, for one, not everyone has access to technology or feels safe searching online for help. A Google search doesn't necessarily produce relevant results unless very specific terms are used. Service provider websites aren't always optimized for search engines, so their sites might be way down the list on a Google search. And then when you find those service provider websites, often information on programs and contacts and eligibility and availability is outdated. So that can cause someone who's looking for help even more grief sometimes. And finally, sometimes information is only available in two of our official languages, so either English or French, which can be a barrier for someone who might be a newcomer to Canada and can't speak either of those languages very well. Next slide, please, Jill. So we hear all of those concerns. We've developed 2 apps with the purpose of matching those in need with the appropriate services quickly and effectively. The first is our HelpSeeker navigation app, which provides a holistic inventory of all help services, helplines. Oh, Jill, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Helplines, benefits and social programs available in a community. So it's available for download on any smartphone, Apple or Android device, and it's accessible from any desktop computer with internet access at www.helpseeker.org. The second app we'll talk about is our Wellbeing Screener, which is a self-assessment tool that helps users identify areas in their life that needs attention, and then pairs the users with services, programs, benefits, or helplines that they could connect with to improve their situations. So currently this is available for download on any smartphone, Apple or Android device. Both of these apps are free and completely anonymous to use. We do not collect any personal information. Next slide, please. So the first app that we're going to review is our HelpSeeker navigation app. HelpSeeker lists more than 200,000 services, programs, helplines, and benefits across Canada. As mentioned, it's free to use and it's completely anonymous to search, and it's also available in 23 languages. It's easy to navigate, and it's essentially a one-stop shop for all of your client needs. So you can save listings that you would like to find again easily, and you can also search for services on someone else's behalf and share your findings with them. So unlike other service directories, we actually encourage service providers to claim and manage their own listings to ensure that the information showing is always up to date and as accurate as possible. So for example, if there's a change to a program's hours or contact information, the service provider can actually go in and update those changes themselves. And all of those changes are reflected in real time. So when your client opens that listing, they can see the latest updates every time. Next slide, please. Some of the issues that we hear from frontline workers is that you wish you could help everyone in need, but you're overworked and there just isn't enough time in your day. You wish you could empower clients to find help for themselves. The idea being, teach them to fish instead of giving them the fish. You want to find the best fit program for that person need so that they don't have to make compromises. So, for instance, someone who might be recently evicted and might have a dog, you want to find some shelter for them where they will actually accept their dog so that they don't have to get separated. You may not be aware about program changes that are changing so rapidly, especially during COVID. We know with all of the temporarily or permanently closed organizations, and then others have popped up. It's really hard to stay on top of them all. You may not know what other programs exist outside of the ones you normally refer clients to. As I said, language barriers can be problematic. And you might spend a lot of time Googling your services, Googling for services, or you might not have access to a computer that would allow you to find and share information about supports with that person. So we hear you, and we've created our apps with all of those concerns in mind as a way to resolve those issues. So next slide, please, Jill. So when a person starts their search on our HelpSeeker navigation app, they can search from a bunch of categories that will help them narrow down the results, such as population focus. So for example, you could search as a youth or senior if you're Indigenous or part of the LGBTQ2S+ community. You can search by the types of needs you're looking for, maybe counseling or shelter or employment. You can search whether translation services are needed or whether you need a free service. Once you've clicked all of the boxes that apply, you'll be presented with a list of services in your community that match what you need. So you can't see them all from this particular screenshot, but there are more than 80 different tags that you can choose from. Next slide, please. So here's an example of what a service listing could look like. You can see the name of the organization, which tags match your criteria, where it is in proximity to where you are, all of the contact information, and there's also the ability to add additional information such as total spaces and occupancy, which, for instance, something like a shelter could be beneficial for them because they could include how many beds they have and how many are occupied so that a person searching could see if there might be room for them right now. There's also the ability to add eligibility requirements. So for instance, like a group home specific to adolescent girls could list that to be eligible, you would need to be an at-risk girl between the age of 14 and 24 who is homeless. There's also a description about the organization and other programs and services that are offered by that agency. The closest matches will be listed at the top so that the most relevant results are listed first. And once you've had a look through the list of recommended services, you can connect to that agency directly from the listing, or you can even copy and share the link to someone else who might need it. So for certain communities, and Medicine Hat is among one of those communities, we also offer the option to download and print a COVID-19 bulletin, which actually provides a snapshot of all the services in the community and how these services have been adapted for COVID-19. Next slide, please, Jill. Our second app is our Wellbeing Screener. So this is a self-guided assessment tool designed to gauge an individual's well-being in areas such as income, housing, health, and safety. The user is asked a series of 15 questions aimed at identifying potential areas for improvement. The whole process takes no more than 3 minutes to complete. And based on those results, the app makes suggestions for programs, services, helplines, and benefits relevant to their needs that are available in their geographical area. So this app is great for someone who may not have a clear picture of their overall well-being. They may know that they aren't feeling at their best, but they can't quite pinpoint what they need help with. So they may be questioning, the state of their mental health, their faith, where they fit in their community, maybe their connection to their cultural identity, their ability to be creative and to be expressive. Maybe they need more connection to nature. This self-assessment tool is designed to kind of pinpoint which areas they need a bit more assistance with. So it provides an opportunity to quickly assess what the urgent needs are, and then it starts the process of understanding what resources are available nearby, and it can connect them directly or share with a friend or family. So the Wellbeing Screener actually ties into the searches from our HelpSeeker navigation app as well. So I'll now turn it over to Val to go into more detail. Next slide, please, Jill.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Jenny. I'm really excited to present our tools and solutions for you as VP of Marketing. My job's very much focused on extending the reach of our tools so then everyone that can benefit from using them knows how to use them, knows what that great value of using these tools is for them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First, I wanted to start with putting together a very clear definition of the differences between the two apps that we just discussed. So the navigation app, as Jenny mentioned, is completely anonymous, holistic database of all services that are available within a geographical area. In order to navigate the app, you do require a little bit of knowledge of what your current needs are. So we recommend that frontline workers that are hoping to refer their clients to a specific service use that app. They're going to get the most value out of it. Whereas the Wellbeing Screener is something that you can equip your clients with for more of a self-guided approach to finding help, as well as any general public that are just looking to gauge their current standing with their well-being. So that's the main differentiator between the two apps. Now, the two apps are very much interconnected. So the database of the services that is hosted on our navigation app feeds into the Wellbeing Screener. So all those services that are listed on the navigation app also show up on the Wellbeing Screener, which means that any information that gets updated on the navigation app then automatically gets updated on the Wellbeing Screener as well. So let's talk about some of the benefits of why a service provider that is currently listed on the HelpSeeker app but hasn't claimed their listing would want to do so. So the way that we go about systems mapping, so we go into a specific geographical area, and with extensive research, we find every single service, helpline, benefit that's available in the geographical area. We pull all the information about that service, and then we list it on our back end. This information, like Jenny mentioned, includes hours of operation, eligibility, accessibility, some general description, contact information, and address if there's an actual physical location. Now, why is it important for the actual service provider to then claim that listing? And by claiming, we mean taking ownership of the listing, taking ownership of all the information that is enlisted in that program. Well, of course, it always comes down to the end user. Having the most up-to-date information at their fingertips, where they can simply search and browse a specific service and find things like whether they're eligible for it, what are the current hours of operation, especially in the times of COVID, those change sometimes on a daily basis. So having access to that accurate information is extremely important. So to ensure that that user who's searching for help has the most straightforward, easy, stress-free experience, we need to ensure that the information is up to date. Who does that best? It's the service providers themselves. They know what changes happening in their organization, what programs are getting updated, and what are the updates. So we ask them and encourage them to claim their listing. Aside from the obvious benefit of listing your program to thousands of people in your community, putting it front center so then they can access it and see it, that's the obvious benefit. There are tons of other benefits that we ensure are extended to the service providers. So let's quickly talk about some of those. So first of all, you can update your program information within minutes. It's actually much easier than updating your Facebook profile. Once you've claimed your listing, you'll see that all the information is already pre-populated within the listing. And all you have to do is basically just confirm that the information is correct, up to date, and then from there, if any changes happen, you just have to pop in for a couple of minutes, log in, and update the information. And all the changes are reflected live, so any user that's browsing your listing will be able to see those changes immediately. You can list as many programs as you want on your service provider account. So let's say you have seasonal programs. Let's say you have programs that are accessible by certain groups. You have different elements to your programs as well. There's, let's say, a food element, or there is a housing element, or clothing element. You can list as many programs as you like, and then manage them all with one swift move. You log in once, you update all programs all in one place, and you don't have to access your Facebook, your Instagram, your website. You don't have to send out a newsletter. Everything is just hosted right there for any end user to be able to access, really quite simply. So what you could also do with some of the seasonal programs that you only have available during specific times, you can easily archive them and then restore them at a later date, which makes it really easy. You don't have to create them all over again. It's as simple as, let's put it on the back burner for now and then bring it up at a later date. Now, for me personally, as VP of marketing, the free marketing aspect is absolutely massive. So as we're all very aware of, COVID has changed a lot of things in the nonprofit and the social sector, where a lot of nonprofit organizations used to rely on fundraising events to raise funds for their marketing budget and their just operational budgets. Unfortunately, these fundraising events haven't been happening over the last year. So already those really limited resources that service providers and organizations have had at their disposal are now even more limited. So what we do here at HelpSeeker is we work tirelessly to ensure that HelpSeeker as an app, HelpSeeker as a directory of services is always very easily discoverable. So few exercises that we do. Number one, for each community that we work with, we create a community web page. So it's a web page on our helpseeker.org website that has been extensively optimized for search engines, which means that we do extensive research of different keywords that people search within the community, whether it's food resources, whether it's shelters, whether it's food banks, whether it's free clothing, and those other keywords that are really prominent within the community, and then we optimize that page for those specific keywords. What we also do is then we include a certain list of service providers and specific listings and services within that page. So let's say somebody is searching on Google free clothing and medicine hat. The goal, and that's it is shown to be actually working in many other communities that we work with. The goal is that HelpSeeker page for medicine hat that hosts some of the services in that category will come up at the very top of the search results. We've seen that already happen in Manitoba and Calgary and Edmonton and a couple of other cities. So it's actually making an impact. So once the user clicks on that page, they'll be able to not only see the services that are available for their specific search. So let's say it's a food bank, but also other services that are available in Medicine Hat. So they get immediate exposure to hundreds and thousands of services. They can also from there click through to our actual search directory, so our desktop app, and then from there they can navigate thousands and thousands more resources. So as I said, this is very much free marketing. So think of it as Clutch or Yelp for social services. Now, a few other interesting benefits. As a service provider who has claimed their listing that now has access to the back end of HelpSeeker, you can record your funding and grant information. This information will never be visible to the client or visible on your listings, but it does allow you to keep all your information organized in one place, which is really quite interesting. Now, you can modify your listings in many different ways. You can add up to 10 images and have a cover image as well to make your listing stand out. We've heard some feedback from other service providers that perhaps adding images that relay what the service is for more vulnerable populations to be able to browse them easily is a good idea. So let's say for housing, it's a picture of a house, or for food, it's a picture of food. So that is some interesting feedback that we received from other service providers, something to keep in mind. And just going back to, the ease of access for end users all in one place is really the most massive benefit. So being able to put your services in front of the right people so they can find the services that they're looking for at the right time. They can share as frontline workers these resources with their clients or friends or family. And of course, you being as one of those service providers with the listing in front of them with the accurate information is really quite important. Now, the biggest part of it all is just systems transformation. We're all working towards this together. We're all using technology in the most ethical way. So become the part of that bigger systems transformation picture. Next slide, please. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So now let's take a look at the nitty-gritty. Let's say you have taken the steps, you have claimed your listing. So let's take a look. What would it actually take to manage your listing? What do you have access to? So right here, you will see that this is what the listing looks like in the back end, and you can actually modify each and every single piece of information on here. We have created over 80 different tags that you can actually tag your specific listing with. And we're currently working on an additional project which we're bringing a lot of people with lived experiences to contribute to, is really trying to define the language by which we call, or the attributes and the tags that we can apply to each specific listing. So then it's very descriptive. When you look at specific service, you know exactly what it provides just based on the tag alone. So we do provide some documentation on how to select specific tags. So you don't have to guess ever. You can always just refer back to a quote unquote dictionary and understand exactly what each one of those tags means. You can also put together a COVID update, for example, at the very top of your description, or any other update that is very prominent for your specific listing or for your specific service. You can add it to the very top in bold to really make it stand out. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. So a few other elements that we mentioned that you could really have ownership over is managing some of your information, like translating content. So our navigation app is available in 23 languages, and you could use the tools in the back end to translate the information within your listing into in those 23 languages, which is really quite spectacular. Now, some other information, as I mentioned, would be eligibility. So being able to state exactly who's eligible for your program or your listing is really important for that end user experience. They can pre-qualify themselves before they even reach out to you. So that saves you so much time on triaging or on, having to redirect people to other resources if they're simply not eligible for yours. You can simply update all of the information in one swift move, and then just with one click of a button, save. You'll have it all in one place, updated live on our dashboard. Next slide, please. That brings us to a very exciting topic. So what does this all mean for us? So to kind of explain the bigger picture, our end game, our goal is to really serve the end user, to ensure that they get access to the right help at the right time, that they can navigate it and control their own journey, control their own experience, feel empowered to seek help. And then, of course, for the service providers, the benefit is that they can now showcase their services to thousands of people all in one place in a very organized way, rather than having the information spread across multiple mediums. It's also informing service providers how to make better decisions, which programs they could potentially add just based on the demand within the community. And then, of course, the bigger picture of it all is using all this data that is collected to inform better decision making. So let's talk about the data that we collect and the kind of information that we have access to. So our two apps are completely anonymous to use. We don't collect any personal information. There is no login required, no email address or anything like that. However, we do collect information on what's called the user journey. So every time anybody uses the app, the interactions that they're having within the app is something that we store in the back end. And that's what helps us inform better decisions on the community level. So what kind of data is it? It's their search terms that they're using to search for specific services. So then we can feed those search terms into our language recognition system that will allow us then to pair those terms with the specific services that they were able to find. It's the categories that they search for as well. Is it population focused that is more prominent within a specific area? Now, all of this information is then also paired with the geographical location. So that allows us to start building what's called heat maps. So heat maps is basically a geographical map with certain data layered on top of it, and that would be your search data, that would be the specific tags that pop up within geographical areas, little clusters of interest per se. So it's little clusters of demand. So in a southwest quadrant of Medicine Hat, we could perhaps be seeing demand for food banks, but we also realize looking at the systems map and the services map that there isn't a single food bank in the southwest quadrant of Medicine Hat. So that's the kind of information that we can then dissect, and that will allow us to make better decisions on which programs to introduce, where are we seeing gaps or where we're perhaps seeing duplications. We're able to generate some really interesting, insightful reports. What we do on the monthly basis, we produce reports that have an abundance of data within them. Like I said, it's the information about what are people searching, what categories receive the most interest, what are the specific search terms that people are using, and like I said, this information can be really insightful when you're trying to make decisions on allocating budgets, on creating new programs, on systems planning in general. Capacity reports and other data sets. So one of the elements within each listing that service providers have control over is capacity information. So each service provider has the ability to add specific capacity. So let's say we're speaking about shelters, you can add the total capacity of beds that you have available. And then there is also the live information on the current availability. So you could easily track, of course, for the end user, it's of great benefit knowing that going to the shelter, it has, let's say, 2 beds available, you know, that you could potentially get in. Same thing for service providers. It's understanding that overall capacity across the entire city. So then that will allow to direct clients in a better, more informed way. And then, of course, our real-time and interactive systems map. What can be more important than, first of all, gaining an understanding of what is all available out there in the city. To date, there hasn't been a single comprehensive map that actually represents all available services in the geographical area. So nobody really knew what's out there, and that is where we're seeing a lot of issues with services duplication, with gaps in services, because without seeing the full picture, you really can't know where the system is broken, for lack of better words. So the biggest thing is, analyzing the whole service ecosystem holistically, understanding what help-seeking behaviors look like, what are people searching for, how are they searching for it, what kind of experience are they having throughout, are they able to find the help that they were looking for, and what that journey looks like. That's really the end game goal of having this tool available to end users and to the service providers. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. So that takes us into a very exciting conversation of what are the next steps. With us being involved in Medicine Hat, the number one step with this lovely group of people is we're hoping that all of you that haven't already downloaded the HelpSeeker navigation app or the Wellbeing Screener, that would be the first step that we recommend starting with. Opening up the tools and seeing how they can be of value to you, to your clients, to your teams. Really building capacity within everyone in your organization is the number one step. So we highly encourage you that you do that. You can access our apps on either Android or Apple App Store by searching HelpSeeker. You will see both of the apps listed there. Like I said, free to download, so very easy couple of steps to complete. You could also access our navigation app map and systems map on helpseeker.org. Now, what we also highly recommend is that you share it with your clients, your agency, and you encourage your network to claim and update their listings. So all of the benefits that we just talked about, they can only be taken advantage of if service providers actually go ahead and claim their listings. So anybody in your network that you know of that is managing certain programs, we highly encourage you that you recommend them to claim their listing. Claiming process is really quite simple. You have to go to helpseeker.org. In the top right corner, you'll see a button, sign or join us. Click on that, fill out a basic questionnaire, and within minutes, you will have your information sent to you. Your listing will automatically be already added to your account. And as I said, the first step after claiming is literally just reviewing the information to make sure that it's up to date. That's would be the next step. So claim and manage your listing and program information to ensure that those people that are using the HelpSeeker app today, they have access to the most relevant, accurate, real-time, up-to-date information. Now, part of my job here at HelpSeeker is really building the strategy on how to make sure that everyone within the community knows about the HelpSeeker app, knows what great benefits it brings to them. So we're really working tirelessly on getting the word out there. And we very much hope for the help of systems transformation champions like yourself, this group of people that really sees how important it is to get people access to the right help. We're really hoping for your help to get that word out there. So we've put together what's called the digital download package. This package holds within it a ton of materials. So templated blogs that you can easily copy, paste, templated newsletters as well that share the information that HelpSeeker app is available. What the benefit of it is, how to use it, how to download it. Once again, very easy. You could copy and paste, edit the information in any way possible. You can add an email signature that has a HelpSeeker banner on it as well to showcase that you are involved in this tremendous project of systems transformation in Medicine Hat. There are some social media posts that you can also copy paste into your social media channels to get the word out there. So what we're hoping to do is following this session today, we will share the digital download package with you. We're hoping that you could use some of the pieces from there. And if you find that you're looking for something really custom, something really unique to get the word out there to your network, to your audience, we're more than happy to customize those materials for you to supply you with what you need. Let's say you're hoping to do a training session with your staff to train them on using the HelpSeeker navigation app tool or the Wellbeing Screener. We're more than happy to send you some videos, how-tos, FAQs to supply you so then you could actually include it in your training sessions. Whatever it is that you need, please feel free to reach out to us. We're very happy to customize and supply you with the right tools so then you could help us help you. Biggest thing is that we're really looking for those champions within the community that can represent to help us inform and become that connection when it comes to our marketing materials, our systems mapping, our systems transformation as a whole. So if you have any interesting ideas on how people in Medicine Hat can benefit from the tools, how can tools can be modified to benefit them better. If you have any interesting ideas, we're always very open to that conversation. We're here to support Medicine Hat in this transformations project as much as possible. So we're very open to ideas, discussions on how we can get this done better together. So please, once again, feel free to reach out to myself or Jillian, and we'll facilitate these conversations. If you have a large group of people that are interested in using the app or they're interested in using the tools that we've built, we'd be more than happy to have a presentation for them specifically as a group. So yeah, absolutely open to everything. Next slide, please. And that takes us to the next step. So Jillian, I'm actually going to pass it over to you so you could chat about our next steps with the systems transformation.
Sure. Before I talk about next steps, that was obviously a lot of information that we threw at you in terms of how this will benefit end users, how this can help us identify service gaps, how this can help service providers. I'll just pause here. Are there any questions either about the transformation project or about the HelpSeeker app, what it is, what you can do on it?
Offline, I was sharing with, or asking Jillian if she was going to show the dashboards. I've seen the dashboards of all the behind the scenes interactions, and they are phenomenal. For a person that loves data and uses data every day and how those interconnections and intersections happen, the information was very enlightening, I would say, as much as we know how much from an organizational perspective we have, from an end user perspective, that is a piece of that data that maybe a lot of us don't actually know, because we only see and track those that actually walk through our door, that actually physically engage with us versus seeking that help and looking for information. So for me, as someone that's been in this a long time and do systems work, that was an element that I had not I did not put enough weight on into that. And this is actually the ability to capture some of that and then use it to actually look at services and what's required in that investment of things as well. So I just wanted to add that in. Yeah, Jillian's like, not today. Today's not the dashboard day. So I was like, darn it.
Yeah, sorry. I wish I could share that with you, and I just don't have it up and ready and they're there to share. But yeah, Jamie's absolutely right. And part of what this does, you know, we have the end user interactions, is that it shifts the focus from doing what's convenient as a sector to what's actually going to make a difference for people looking for help. You know, where are they actually going to get help? Where are services actually located? Is that in the places where they're actually looking for help? What kind of words are they using? Are they searching help me, I'm an addict, or are they searching substance use harm reduction? Those are two very different sets of words, and people think and look for help in different ways. They search for help in different ways. So absolutely, it's a super powerful tool. And you know, there's that end user benefit, but then being able to look and say, these are the policy changes, these are the funding investments that we need, these are the places where we need to shift how our programs are delivered. That's going to be where this becomes really, really powerful in terms of systems transformation. So
Absolutely.
any other questions or comments about what you've heard today?
Looks great. We actually, Help Seekers came up and I took a mental health first aid the other day. And one of my colleagues actually was searching to see what we could find. And she said, there's a Help Seekers thing. And then when I seen, oh, I have a meeting with this week. And it's awesome. It looks really good. And I think it will help immensely in Medicine Hat.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
That's awesome, David. Thanks so much. Does anyone else have anything?
No, looks like we're all on the same page. This is going to be an excellent tool. Now it's just a matter of putting it to work. So yeah, as a follow-up, as I said, we'll send you this deck to review, as well as the digital download guide, some of the links where you could quickly and easily download the app, and then we'll go from there. I'm hoping for some follow-up conversations with each and every one of you, or with some who are interested, to see how we can work together on getting this tool in the right hands.
Mm-hmm. In terms of next steps too, you know, we'll be doing that reach out to you and helping you help us build out that map. But we're also going to send out an email over the course of the next month for you to join another one of these sessions, and that session will be more focused on the common language piece. You know, how to apply tags, how to make sure that we're all speaking the same language, how to make sure that your listings are user friendly and they're easy to search, and it's giving us the insights that we need. So you can expect that in your inbox over the coming weeks. And then of course, this is just a small part of a really big picture, a really big transformation that's going to happen. So you'll be seeing changes over the course of the next year in terms of piloting new technologies, continuing to engage end users in this process, and really kind of kickstarting transformation into our bigger vision. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and we really appreciate you letting us take an hour of your time to hear about this, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the project.